Hello and welcome to another edition of Bombers Blast on College Football Mafia Network. Lit, not blast. Sorry. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. You can see my background has changed. Thankfully, got a new job, and with that new job, I had to sort of reorient stuff in my office, and now all of a sudden, the sort of the scope and realm that we talked about that I would have in my background 2 years ago, I now have the ability to do. So there's new features I want to make sure everybody knows about. I'll get into that a little bit later in the show, but I appreciate everybody being here tonight. We are doing neat things at the end of the day, and I appreciate everybody that comes and participates here. Tonight we will be taking call-ins. I want to hear your comments, questions, suggestions about how your school is doing. And then if you're one of the schools that's upside down or you have lost or was just inexplicable, which is kind of, there's not been a bunch, which is pretty easy. But there have been schools that haven't really impressed either. So we will talk about that tonight. I hope everybody, hang on a second. Moment says my audio is way echo. I don't know. Give me 1 second. Good. Oh, this is the reason. I got it.
Okay, I got it. See, this is live TV. This is how we do stuff. How about now? Can you guys hear me? Is that better? Give me a thumbs up. When I moved everything around, I had to disconnect stuff necessarily. So if somebody can give me some feedback about how it is, okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. I really, really appreciate that. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. And again, this show should be fun. Yeah, there's no reason to really hesitate or go into anything, as we're going to be talking about our different schools tonight. But it should be fun. There are news items that we could cover if you wanted to. There was the Arkansas AD standing up and basically saying, we live in the SEC and we're poor still. That audio, I don't know if anybody wants to see that, but I was just shaking my head, just going, you're in the SEC. You've won a national championship. You're a school that has proud history. And here you're at a donor event and you're putting your hand out. These schools that go into these settings and say, we need money, and they're begging essentially for money, drives me bonkers. Because if you're running your ship right, if you're managing your budget right, if you're not overspending on silly, stupid stuff, you can make it. And you know how I know that? Because BYU did it without any support for well over a decade. And yeah, there is maybe a little bit more of a donor base for BYU, but there's no reason your school, if you're struggling to raise money, let's talk about West Virginia. That's the next one. West Virginia is also going out and saying, okay, we're going to step up. The legislature is going to give essentially the athletic departments the money they need to be competitive. And I support that 100%. That's great. I don't appreciate the fact that these legislatures are debt spending to support athletic departments at universities. That's a pet peeve of mine. Why should my taxes, and who knows what the tax is, entertainment tax, drive around Point of the Mountain to get to Salt Lake tax, whatever it is, that tax now goes to fund USU and Utah athletics? What are we doing here? I mean, and they can go out and debt spend and then get bailed out. Hello, Arizona State. So, while money is very important and we shouldn't get away from that, it's really stupid to say that you can't make it because you just can't get enough money. If that's the case, then quit competing. Don't bitch and moan about it. Just quit. Just quit asking for money and then you'll be fine. By the way, I got a new chair. You guys see this? It's an Evo chair. If you've got $1,000 to spend on a chair, I took all my YouTube money and put it into this thing. It's the best chair I've ever owned. They're really cool. I could do a walk around one time if anybody wanted to see it. But so anyway, that's news we can talk about if that's something you guys want to is on your mind. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really jumped outside of games that we can definitely talk through. We'll start off in the ACC and the Big 12. Those are the two conferences that are really fighting for relevancy and for survival. And there are some schools that maybe have some questions to answer. So we'll try to get that. We're 4 weeks into the season? Well, 3 plus the week 0. So depending on, like, if you're Iowa State, you've played 4 games already. Your season's quarter over, a third over, right? So all you got to do now is go out and play 8 more games, and you're in the championship game again. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Let's start off with some shout outs. The very beginning of the show, and this is something that Moen, if you're watching live, I sent you a DM on Twitter, or you can come on the show right now, Moen, and talk to this thing about Ryan Willie. This pisses me off a little bit, just because everybody should be able to have fun and everything, but nobody should feel small. So I'm going to read these, and Rock knows what he's doing. I'm not going to talk to Rock. He can answer for the way he answers stuff. But certainly around here, we take responsibility for the stuff that we can. And if it's something that I can make right, I will definitely try to do that. So Ryan, I'm just going to read all 3 of these posts from him. Hi, College Football Mafia. I'm letting my membership run out, and the only way I'll come back is if Rock agrees to never bring up the Lucas drama or is no longer a contributor on your channel. Well, I'm not kicking him off the channel, Ryan. That's not going to happen. But can't we agree to disagree about the Wisconsin-Miami thing? I don't understand why we're still talking about that. Anybody? I would just prefer we quit talking about it at all. He says, Moen asked Rock to drop the drama Sunday night, but Rock refuses to drop it. He admitted that he's only nice to me because I've donated money. Well, okay. Again, Ryan, Rock has his own channel, right? The money you donate and the membership you have here is with us. It's with us. So holding us responsible for something that Rock said is kind of hard, right? He's a grown man. I'm not going to tell him what he can and can't say. But I am going to say, as long as we're around here, this is kind of what the norms are. So I hope you're still watching. I definitely don't want to lose you as a member. And I'll do whatever I can to make that right. But we need to make that distinction. There's the channel, and then there's an individual contributor. I'm not going to kick him off. That's something else. This is not a threat, and then you get appeased either, right? We don't make threats around here either. So that's not going to be changing. But we can certainly address this one particular thing, and hopefully we can get rid of it. I don't know why we're still talking about it. He had the nerve to ask me about how fans feeling about Fickle. Yeah, Wisconsin and Luke Fickle. That's been a drama for sure. After refused the drama, I'll watch to hear your response, and if you don't respond, I won't return to this channel. Well, I'm responding. I can't tell you how you're going to interpret what my answer is. All I can say is that around here we take responsibility for our own actions. If it's something that's controllable on my part, I will do that. But the thing with Rock, I can certainly say, let's not talk about it anymore, and that's something we can definitely follow through on. I can't stop him from saying things, though. And if that is how you feel, that's how you feel. But I don't want to lose you. So I appreciate you letting me know, give me a heads up, and not just leaving, so we could try to address it. And we can continue to go that way. If that's something that you want to talk about, I'm happy to address you anytime. Daniel, contributor extraordinaire in the house, saying, hi, everyone. Good to have you here. Daniel did a video. I think it dropped on Sunday about, oh, shoot. Now, what was it, Daniel? I'm sorry, I forgot. It was really good. Daniel's doing a lot. I mean, he's been practicing. Maybe it was just upsets and whatnot. It's in our short library. I would encourage everybody to go watch it, or if you can see the link and repost it, that'd be great too. Moen says Moen was second, number 1 in your hearts. All right. Right after that, Moen is feeling magnanimous. They gave away 5 new memberships. So first of all, I'm going to clap those 5 new memberships in the house. I appreciate it. That's awesome, Moen. And I did open the client, so I know exactly who those went to. Went to Adam Montebarros, Adam Moore, Rich 12, Hayden Maxwell, and Baby Wants Bling. Those are fantastic names. All you are new members of the College Football Mafia family. If you want to, after this show's over, go to our regular library, and there's a reader across the middle of the page, and each one of them's a tab. Go to the membership tab, and you can see all the member videos. Best in the business, best of breed, as people say, and yeah, I think you'll like them. So we appreciate it. Love having you guys, and if you continue to stick around, I guarantee you'll get that money back. Well, in this case, they were free. So if you've received a free membership, please consider paying it on and give one to somebody else. I do believe in karma. I think karma is real in our lives, and good things come to those who are unselfish. All right. Big Lubbock says he's first, and of course, first in our hearts, as always. Bob Swanger, Penn State in the house. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Bob. To Town Hawk, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, representing the Kansas Jayhawks. Good writers borrow, great writers steal. Some dude somewhere said some time ago. Yep. I'm not sure who said that. It was a big writer. It was somebody famous. So somebody can look that up. I'm not sure who it was, but to Town Hawk, $2 super chat says, pump up the volume, baby. Sorry. Yeah, I'm glad we got my mic sorted out. Steve Moser says, nice. Good to have you here, Steve. Another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Let's see here. Timothy Green, representing the West Virginia Mountaineers, east side of this country. Somebody that's out there fighting for everything we do around here at College Football Mafia. Good to have you here, Timothy. Hello, Bomber. Just wanted to hop in and help the old logarithm a little bit. What's up, Moen, and everyone in the chat? Good to see you, Timothy. Stephen Vitt says you're good. I'm still waiting for that invitation to be on your show, Stephen. I don't know what I got to do to get that invitation. Sean, good to have you here, Sean. Sean says thumbs up. My audio seems to be better. That's good. Cody X Reviews. Let's see here. NC State to the top. Go Pack. I love Cody X Reviews. Good to have you here, man. Make sure you subscribe. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. Sorry, this pillow is a magnet, and I have to try to get it to the place where it'll hold. Anyway, welcome to the channel, Cody X Reviews. I hope you like it and stick around. Dave's here, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying taxes shouldn't pay for sports. Amen, brother. One thing people need to understand, it's always been that way. They've always been subsidized. We just didn't know to what extent they've been getting subsidized until, you know, what happened with the old Pac-12 schools was released when they joined the Big 12. Then everybody understood how these schools have been debt spending. Specifically, Arizona State, $51.7 million. University of Arizona, over $20 million. The state legislature underwrit both those debts and paid them off. So $2 million was paid off for two schools because they went into debt in facilities and coaching and all those things, and you're paying for it. So if you're a taxpayer in Arizona, I hope you appreciate that's happening in your state. Clint Moses, good to see you here, Clint. Oregon State's kind of down right now, brother. What do we got to do to get them up? Something. Donations pay for the chair. Come on, Ryan Willie. I appreciate that. Yes, they did. They have. Yes, I have reinvested in the channel. I'm not getting rich. This is something I'm doing so that you guys can have an outlet for your frustrations and everything else. Mr. Ed Wayner, University of Houston is now, I believe, 3-0, right? I got to go back. I did some research. I wanted to have these records at the touch of a button. Let's see. Yeah, in fact, Iowa State 4-0, Houston 3-0, Arizona 3-0, Texas Tech 3-0, Utah 3-0, BYU 2-0, TCU 2-0, UCF 2-0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 schools in the Big 12 after 3 plus 1 weeks are undefeated. That's pretty dang good. That's pretty dang good. Big 12's doing well. They just have to keep playing. Where it's going to start to get chippy and where it hurts the conference is Utah beats Texas Tech, BYU beats Utah. Texas Tech beats BYU. TCU loses to BYU, but beats, I don't know if they play Texas Tech this year. The conference eats itself alive. So while it's good, right? Those are great things to start off the season. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to look like at the end of the season, but it certainly is off to a great start. Let's see here. Kenneth Maynor in the house, been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Get this away from my mouth. Amp for Saturday night on ESPN2 at Dowd Ficklin Stadium. And we welcome BYU and their great fans, expecting a 52,000 sellout. Yeah, I guarantee you guys will sell out this game, Kenneth. Pirates are confident and the fan base is drunk and ready to rock. Go Pirates. I think that's going to be possibly one of the best games of the day. ECU is not a throwaway G6 school. They're playing really well. A year and a half ago, they were in my to the next step ACC rankings. That changed a little bit as we started hearing more about the schools, but certainly ECU is doing everything it can to improve its own lot. I tell you what, if they pull off the upset, it'll be a stretch. I think BYU's favored by, I don't know, last I saw it was 6.5. Not very much. Not a blowout number. If ECU can cover, that'll look good. Because BYU's defense is top. By the end of the year, they might be top 10. That defense is lights out. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. ESPN2 feature game. I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern. Kenneth, you might correct me on that, but something like that. So it should be a good game. Really looking forward to it. Netwit in the house saying, "Hey, Bomber, good to see you, Netwit. Appreciate you, man." Let's see here. We will go down. I've gone a little long today. I appreciate everybody being patient. Members only, Moen Confidential, Thursday night, September 25th. So that would be next week. Next Thursday night, Moen's doing a live show, but it's members only. So $2 super chat. He wanted to remind me to do that. He probably sent me a message to make sure I remembered and didn't. So I appreciate him doing that now. So $2 super chat, members only, Moen Confidential, Thursday, September 25th. Conundrum, how is Notre Dame still ranked? I don't know. You guys know how I feel about Notre Dame. They're never going to disappear, everybody. I know we all kind of want them to disappear. That's not going to happen. Notre Dame's going to be here with us, so we might as well deal with it. 0-2, there's no way they should be in the top 25. 20 years ago, they wouldn't even be sniffing the top 25. Things have changed so much in the way that things are measured now. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. They don't play anybody really the rest of the season unless one of these teams jump up and really overperform that are on their schedule. I don't know. Do they play Tulane this year? Tulane might beat them. Let's see here. To get to any more comments from people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I had 5 p.m. because, of course, that's Mountain Time. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for BYU at ECU. BYU is 34-4 in their last, 38 games. Someone might, was it 34 or 24-4 in their last 28 or 38 games when they play after 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So this game, right on the edge of being that lights out for BYU. We'll have to see. Under the lights, a lot of people will be watching that game. I'm looking forward to it. And then Jan Hulk checking in, saying, "Hey, all, always watching. Good to see you, Jan. Jan's in Slovenia. I appreciate you being here, man. I hope you're feeling well. You've all recovered from your surgeries and stuff. It's great to see you. I really, really appreciate you being a member of the College Football Mafia family, and we appreciate your support. Also, Justin R. checking in for the USF Bulls. Miami put a thumping on them last week, but I don't think that's a big. Miami might be the best team in the country right now. So I would not hang my head about that, Justin. I don't think you are. But USF still has everything in front of them to play for. Sorry we couldn't get the job done last week. I think Miami might be really, really good with Beck at QB. We can still win the AAC. I think Notre Dame plays Boise State down the road. Boise State's down. So is that a marquee win? No, I don't think it will be. by that time of the season. I could be wrong. I don't know. Perception is real tough, especially for the G6 conferences. But yeah, you guys have everything to play for. The one concern, the reason I wouldn't, if I was doing a top 25, I wouldn't have Miami as number one is because Beck just cannot stop throwing interceptions. Yes, he'll get 3 or 4 touchdowns, but he always, every game has 2 or 3 interceptions. You can't do that and win a national championship, at least not very often. I'm sure it's been done, but not very often. So he needs to clean that up if they're going to win the national championship this year. Let's see here. Kenneth Maynard says ECU is ranked 7th nationally in run defense and 11th in passing offense. Yeah, the run thing, you guys might have some challenges. I don't know. We'll have to see. But the passing, we got a true freshman quarterback. We'll have to see how you guys test him and how he steps up. I'm not saying he's going to. Bear Bachmeier is going to take some time to get everything going, but he certainly has all the tools. So we'll have to see. I liked what your coach was saying this week. I mean, I didn't like it, but I appreciate it. He knew what he was doing. He saw the challenge, and I think he's got that team ready. Daniel Gorby, Florida State, doing well. I love Florida State. Always want to see them win as much as possible. FSU in Miami, October 4th in Tallahassee. Yeah, that's going to be college game day. That's an ESPN only show. So it'll be college game day, and maybe they'll have some other feature stuff. That game could blow the doors for viewership. We'll have to see, though, Daniel. I'm looking forward to it. That it's finally in Florida that you have all these top schools playing each other. I absolutely love it. Conundrum says, hit the like button and subscribe. Do that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment or question, and let us know how we're doing. If you're watching on X, jump over, and I'll put the instructions with the call-in number for the call-in show. Jump over to our YouTube page, College Football Mafia, and get in there and hit the subscribe button. Help us out. We're pushing towards 6,000 subs, and we'd love to be to 7,000 by the end of the season. I don't know that we're going to get there, but if we can get to 6, that would be really good. So appreciate everybody being here tonight with us to do that. Let's see, Aaron Frazier. Welcome to the channel, Aaron. If you've been here before, I appreciate you. If I haven't, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let us know how we're doing. Aaron Frazier says, wrong. Beck is constantly having multiple interception games. You're not talking to me, right, Aaron? Because I just exactly said that. Yeah. He does throw multiple interceptions every game. At Georgia last year, it seemed like every game was 3 interceptions. So he needs to clean that up if they're going to win a natty. Larry, the GM, representing the University of Texas and also the SEC, saying, Bomber, thank you for being open to feedback, even when it's challenging. This makes this challenge special. Thank you. I appreciate you, Larry. Larry and I don't always agree, but certainly we can have a conversation. You don't have to agree, especially in these times when people love conflict and all they do is want to fight. They don't want to have a discussion. Certainly don't want to respect each other to get to a solution. That's what we do around here. It's the way we will always do it. And that's because that's my character, and that's sort of what I've demanded from everybody. So you just need to respect each other. You don't have to agree, but you need to be able to listen, process, and then give good feedback. I don't mind conflict. What I don't like is disrespect. And when I've done that myself, I always try to apologize. Always, just for that reason. So Jackson Johnson popping in saying, what's up, College Football Mafia Nation? Jackson, if you don't know, voice of college football, representing the University of Alabama, and he has his own channel on the Voice of College Football. I need to get over to Mark Rogers' show. I've got an open invite over there. This new job is just taking all my time. Anyway, it's good to see you, Jackson. Let's see here. Sorry. I'm just trying to get through. Skaven, yes, in the house. Good to see you, man. Evening Bomber, appreciate you. Chris G, yep, I'm here. Not happy about my alma mater, but here, go crazy on me. Please remind me, Chris, what your school is, and I'm happy to talk about them. Absolutely happy to talk about them. I just can't. off the top of my head remember what your school is. But yeah. Let's see here if there's any other new comments from new people. Chris, I appreciate you. I'll watch the chat for your response so I can give your school proper credit. Okay. Real quickly, I'm just going to summarize kind of the way the ACC and the Big 12 Conference, let me get this off of here. The ACC and the Big 12 Conference have, what they're the sort of fight to the death, right? That's where we're at right now is they're fighting, for their lives, relevancy and everything else. So these are the schools that are doing well in each conference. I'm not going to cover the schools that, well, that's not true. I'll mention not the schools in the middle. Those are kind of boring. So if you have one loss, that's not enough. But if you're a school that has 2 losses, you got issues, and I'll bring those up too. So let me start with the Big 12. That's one I know it in the ACC really well, but BYU's in the Big 12, so I'll just start there for easy sake. So let's say that really quick again. Iowa State, and I'm going to open up the phone calls. That's why I put the reader at the bottom as my phone call number. I will take in your feedback. I'd love to talk to you, and you guys tell me what you think of what these schools are doing to be successful or not successful. Iowa State, Houston, Arizona, Texas Tech, Utah, BYU, TCU, UCF, all undefeated in the Big 12. In the ACC conference, we have California, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, NC State. So they have 6. So just going off of starting records, we're not talking about who they played, but just going off of starting records, the ACC has 6 schools that are still undefeated, and the Big 12 has 8. You say, okay, why does that matter? Well, it matters because if you look at top down in the ACC, and I think I can do this. I always need to remember when I'm switching back and forth that I do this right. Let's see here. No, I don't need to share it. I'll just read it to you. It's fine. If there's less challenge in the ACC, it means you can have more top-end brands winning your conference. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand where I'm going with that? So while on its face, it seems like the Big 12 is doing better, just 8-6, still undefeated, that's not exactly true. Even if you throw out who they've been playing, they've all been playing these sort of preseason ramp-up games. That's still not enough to say this is where we're going to extrapolate at the end of the season. So if the ACC only has 6 teams that are still undefeated up to this point, that if you do the math, and I wasn't great at algebra, but if you do the math, it basically says, okay, that means there's going to be less schools at the top, but they're going to be stronger. Does that make sense? So if you have less good teams, but they're elite, you have the opportunity to take more spots in the college football playoffs, certainly when it's only 12 teams. Whereas in the Big 12, they have 8 undefeated teams. And again, regardless of who they played, those teams are fighting for less spots. So it's harder to have elite teams in a conference that's very deep. That's half the conference is undefeated through the first quarter of the season. That's not good. It's not good because at the end of the day, you're not going to have the necessary brand power at the end to get more than one school in. Does that make any sense? I hope I'm being clear. I'm trying very hard to be clear about that. So I'll open up the phone lines. Let's talk about that. We can talk about your school. If you're not in the Big 12 ACC, that's fine. I'll talk about your school. Just tell me what your school is. Yeah, we'll just continue to have this. And I really appreciate you guys being here because this is why I do this for the conversation. I want to hear what you guys think, right? To Town Hawk says, I am confused. So let me try to say it one more time to Town Hawk so I can be clear, okay? If you have more schools fighting for, let's just assume right now both conferences have 2 spots guaranteed to them. They don't, but let's assume they do. And Notre Dame technically is possible for one of those spots. right? Of the 4, Notre Dame could take one of them. Not saying it will this year, but they could without being in the conference. If that's the case, then if the Big 12 is super deep, it means they're all going to eat themselves alive, right? The old argument against the Pac 12. The Pac 12 for the last, well, right before it blew up, the last 12 years, ironically, after Utah and Colorado joined them, it watered everything down and they ate each other alive. So at the end of the season, nobody made the playoffs, not because necessarily one of the teams wasn't good, but because they'd killed each other and they all had crappy records by the end of the season. And they couldn't make a 14 playoff. Now we expand to 12. That's great. But even at 12, if you assume, let's just assume 3 go to the Big 10, 3 always go to the SEC. So that's half already to 2 conferences. G6 gets 1. Notre Dame possibly has 1. Then you're having these schools fighting for the other spots. So if the ACC only has 3 top brands, but they've only got one or maybe 2 losses each, but they've beaten Miami, they've beaten Florida State, they've beaten a Georgia Tech team that's very, very good, they could be higher because they have less teams fighting for those positions. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now, really, this year, the Big Ten's probably going to be, well, I don't know. Big Ten and SEC could each get 4 teams in this year. That's 8. G6 gets 1. That means the Big 12, Notre Dame, and the ACC are fighting for 3 spots, which is what happened last year, right? So anyway, something to think about. Actually, that's not true. It didn't happen last year because the SEC only got 3 teams in because Alabama and South Carolina and Ole Miss didn't make it. So that extra spot actually went to the ACC because they did get Notre Dame in. So that's technically 3. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense. I appreciate you guys. If I'm still not getting it clear, I might not be able to elucidate it anymore clearly than that, but I certainly am going to try. I'll have a conversation with you about it. Call me right now, 801. Let me turn this on. 801-899-6203. And let's talk. Let's talk, about your team, news, whatever you want to. I'm live right now, and if you don't call in, that's cool. I'm going to go through these records again and dive deeper into these analytics and the Big Ten and the SEC because I think that data matters. So I want everybody to understand where that's coming from. But call me right now, 801-899-6203, and let's talk. I believe it is working. And if you don't do that, I'll just go through comments and I could see talking about these other conferences. So really quick, North Carolina 2-1, Pittsburgh 2-1, SMU 2-1, Syracuse 2-1, Virginia 2-1, Wake Forest 2-1, Duke, Clemson's 1-2, Boston College, Stanford, and Virginia Tech at a lowly 0-3, and they fire their coach, right? Stanford wasn't good the first 2 weeks. BYU absolutely beat the hell out of them, and then they go and win last week 30-20. So what's Stanford doing? Have they finally figured it out? Are they turning it around? I don't know. Cal, if you want to talk about schools that are at the top of the list, California looks fantastic. They have a true freshman quarterback. I don't know if that's going to be enough, to be honest, but we'll see. Florida State's for real. Georgia Tech's for real. Louisville's for real. Miami's for real. NC State, I'm still a little up in the air about, but I certainly think that they have it's now all open for them to go out there and win a bunch of games. North Carolina is just not good. Pittsburgh, SMU, I think they're going to take a step back. Syracuse maybe is better than 2-1. Syracuse might do better than that, but the rest of them, Wake Forest, Boston College, Clemson at 1-2, you can never throw them out. But they lost 3 games last year, but won the ACC championship and make the playoff. So, and Miami got screwed, just like BYU did last year. So this is why all these numbers matter. That's why these conference breakdowns matter. Give me a call right now. I don't want to talk all night. 801-899-6203. Call in and let's talk about your school. And I will go through your comments. See here if I missed any super chats. I already did Kenneth Maynor. Yep, I did his. Mowens. Nope, no more super chats. Okay. 801-899-6203. Did somebody just call me? No, I guess not. I thought I heard my phone ringing. Nope, nobody's calling me. Let's see. One other thing I wanted to, there's a summary that I came up with between the Big 12 and the ACC, up to date. Big 12, Iowa State, Houston are being undefeated with strong non-conference wins against ACC teams like SMU, Stanford, North Carolina. BYU beat Stanford. The conference is 5-6 against Power 4 teams. Almost 50%. The ACC struggling. They're 3-9 against Power 4 opponents. Florida State and Georgia Tech won, but Clemson and you, not so much. All right, here we go.
Call from
Town Hawk.
The Town Hawk. How we doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, Nate. Tell you what, a week off will restore your spirits.
Something, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I the timing of that bye week was not the greatest.
I tell you, I was a little lackadaisical about getting back on the horse this week, but Daniel asked me if in chat if I was ready to lose, and I said, "Yeah, man, I'm not ready to admit we lost to Missouri."
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wanted you guys to beat them bad. So I don't know what to make. I mean, Jane Daniels looks good.
Oh, it's coming this week. I didn't realize exactly how many missed tackles we had last week, Nate. We had 24 missed tackles.
Oh, geez.
In the first two games, I think we had 6 tackles combined, and I think 4 of those were on the first drive against Fresno State that they actually scored on. So I expect the defense to play, 10 times better. No, 100 times better than what they did in Mizzou.
I think Kansas has a real chance because you guys are 2-1 or 1-1 right now.
No. The 2 wins. I mean, they played but they played Wagner in the second game.
Okay.
But that wasn't much. But this is going to be the second game in the new stadium, and I think they're doing special all black uniforms for the game. I can't remember what time it is, if it's a night game or not. I think it's mid-afternoon, like 5:30.
Okay. Well, you got to win that spot. You got to win that game. We need you guys to be good.
I'm not a betting guy, but I do look at the lines sometimes just to get an idea of like what the public's confidence is.
Right.
And I think they opened up at minus 11 or minus 10, and the last spread I think I saw was minus 13.
Oh,
which
wow.
means I think a lot of people are putting. I don't know if it's a lot of money or if it's a lot of people, because I know there's some people that just put a big amount and make it swing.
Right, of course, yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm not like a professional.
Oh no, when you're a fan, you're not supposed to be a professional. There's no expectation there for that.
Yeah, my bank account appreciates it.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. Tell me, what do you think about this comparison between the ACC and the Big 12? Certainly, performance is up to the first furlong mark for the season.
Okay, but you're talking about how it's top heavy, and that it's how it could be worse for the Big 12 to actually have more undefeated teams right now and throughout the season, because that's proof that they're going to beat each other up real bad all throughout, whereas there's only maybe 2 or 3 really, really competitive teams at the top end for the ACC, and that's what's going to get them the two spots instead of the Big 12.
Yep.
Okay. I can see that. I can also see a scenario in which I'd have to take a look to see what's possible, but say you have 3, maybe even 4 really competitive, really good Big 12 teams at the end of the year that have each maybe 1 or 2 losses in
Yes.
So you're looking at what, 4 top 25 teams? Is that the case?
Yeah, I think so.
that-
Something like that. Yeah.
You know, that would be a case at the end of the year as they look at that with the rankings and the title game. I'm thinking maybe those top 2 guys get a little bit of the doubt. Because here's the other thing: is are the committee just going to take the top 2 brands, or are they going to take who's going to be competitive? They think and give them a good product this year. I don't know. After what happened to SMU.
Yeah, I have no faith that they're going to pick the best teams. I don't think that's the marker. I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to brands. So if you have a 10-2 ACC runner-up and not 10-2, they would be a runner-up. They'd be 11. They'd be 11-2 because if they only have 2 losses, they're 11-2. Runner-up, they'll be in the playoffs again. I don't think the Big 12 gets that type of grace.
So what are you thinking? Ideally, they're going to be the records they're looking at 2 10-win teams.
At least it might need to be 2 11-win teams in the championship game. Yeah, it's ugly. It's I mean, it's good, right? I mean, for overall product, the Big 12 people will be watching the games, which is great, but it's not going to get the CFP attention that it really, really, really needs. So I don't know. With Notre Dame out of it, it helps the Big 12. If Notre Dame comes back and they're still in the top 25 inexplicably, if they win in the rest of their games, and let's assume they do, then I think Notre Dame's in again. And essentially you get 2 for the ACC plus 1 for Notre Dame. So that's 3. And the Big 12 will be stuck at 1 again.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that helps them is they're losing at the beginning of the year. As long as they don't drop any at the end of the season, I think.
Right.
I think you're right. I think they squeeze them back in. But if they lose 2 late, maybe. I didn't see their schedule. Do they play anybody that's going to be a challenge?
I don't know if they play USC this year. Wasn't that the complaint last year, is that they didn't have them on their schedule going forward? I don't know. If they play USC, that's another big game, obviously. But if they don't play USC and they play, a bunch of AAC schools and whatnot, then I'm not saying those schools aren't good. I'm just saying Notre Dame could just pad its record. I will go to my grave thinking that if BYU had lost a game early October, last week of September, and had finished it 10-2, they could have been brought into the college football playoff. Losing to Kansas late absolutely knifed them. So what can you do, right? Just win who's in front of you to Town Hawk. That's all we can do. You still there?
Oh, sorry, Nate. I'm having trouble hearing you.
That's okay. I'll let you go. It's okay. I'll let you go. Thank you very much for calling in. It's great talking to you.
We're gonna keep doing this.
Okay, let's keep doing it. Let's go. I appreciate that. We'll see you later.
Sounds good, bud.
Okay, bye.
Right, bye.
Call from
Caden the Diesel Freak.
Caden the Diesel Freak has joined the show. How you doing, Caden?
Hey, Nate. First of all, sorry about the technical difficulties on my end. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. We're trying to get by. I appreciate you calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, Nathan, could you turn up your volume? I cannot hear you for like a slight second. I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on your end.
I don't know. Can you guys? Riff Raff says USC plays Notre Dame, so that's another big game.
Because it might be on your end.
I'm looking at my mic output. Caden, I'm broadcasting. If I put the mic any closer in my mouth, nobody's gonna be able to. It'll be like blasting people.
Well, You want my thoughts? Well, you know what? You asked the right man for the job, Nate.
Okay, let's go.
So, Iowa State beating Iowa proved me again that Iowa State is a great football team and that they deserve a national championship.
Wow.
Fact.
Okay.
BYU, on the other hand, is a dominant team. Will they play for the Big 12 title? Yes. Against who? Iowa State, particularly because those are the only two physical teams in the Big 12 right now besides West Virginia, but we'll see about their future later on with Coach Rodriguez as he progresses.
Okay.
But you know what? The loss, Notre Dame being 0-2, and I know everybody in the Big 12 despises Notre Dame, including yourself, and I've heard your thoughts about Notre Dame, as I like to call them,
Right,
Nathan,
right.
and I know you despise them.
Well, I part of that's jealousy, so I respect them. I just don't like them.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, Nathan. I made a little wager deal with Will and D, the local Notre Dame fan, and he said if Notre Dame loses one more, and he told me that if they lose 4 games and even 3 games and they don't make it into the playoffs, he will give me $500.
Wow. Okay, that's fantastic. I think USC could beat Notre Dame. If they play,
Yeah,
I think USC will beat Notre Dame this year.
And, you know, here's the other thing, Nathan. I've said that the Big 12 is a powerhouse conference that was sleeping for over 20 years. And
Yes.
they've finally risen up back from the dead.
Yep.
Well, the Big 12 has finally arisen from the dead and is finally bringing a lot more powerhouse to college football than the ACC. Because the ACC, let's be honest, is a mess. And Miami seems to be the only legitimate team in the ACC.
Miami's really good. Florida State's good, though. Georgia Tech's good. That's just a
Well,
few.
and
Louisville.
here's the other thing, Nathan. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the SEC is concerned, okay, Georgia's the only team besides Texas, but most likely Georgia will be going to the SEC title game and winning that one by a no-brain margin. And their defense will step up very, very highly. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as BYU, the Big 12 is concerned, yes, I will admit it. I am ready for whoever comes out of the Big 12 as Big 12 champion and whoever decides to show up in the national championship against Ohio State.
Oh,
Because whoever it is, it's going to be a physical dogfight. And I've said this before. The Big 12 has got some big dogs in the league. But unfortunately, there is not enough room for the big dogs for the national championship. So there's only a few room for big dogs in that category. Is BYU a big dog team? Absolutely. Are they physical? Yes.
Yep.
Are they dominant? Yes. Do I think that they'll be a credible threat to Ohio State a national championship opportunity? Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. I would love that.
And do I think that they're a team that can cause anybody problems, including Alabama? Most definitely, yes. And even Clemson, I know that you guys could beat the living hell out of Clemson.
Yeah.
And I've said that before. And I didn't stutter, Nathan.
Okay. I appreciate that, Caden. Thank you so much for calling in. Ohio State, Miami would feed many, many families in the national championship game.
Well, you know what? Here's the other thing. I'll leave this to you, Nathan.
Okay.
Think about this. BYU goes 11-1. They only lose to Iowa State in the Big 12 title game.
Right.
Sneaks into the playoffs as a second-seed Big 12 team. Beats, per se, Alabama on the road, handing them their third loss, and sneaking into a second spot for a national championship opportunity. And that opportunity comes against Ohio State in, the bowl game that you've never played us in, and that's the Fiesta Bowl. And that is one of the highest-rated national championship semi- or quarterfinal games in the history of college football besides the 2022 Peach Bowl, featuring your buddy's favorite team, Ohio State, against the number 1 most rated dangerous defense in the SEC, Georgia. That becomes the second highest rated game behind Ohio State, Georgia in the Peach Bowl. And think about this. Do you know how high the ratings would be and how many people would be saying this was the game of a century, once in a lifetime? This was the game that really brought it down to the wire. Like, think about this. I said this, and I'll say it again. BYU is going to the playoffs.
Let's go. I'm ready
Will
for
they
that.
be facing Ohio State? Yes. And am I concerned? A hair bit, because that's a great team and a physical team on defense. Will their offense give us problems? Of course. You know, Jordan Hancock and all those guys, you know, they haven't faced a Big 12 team with a very good receiver and tight end group, and especially a good quarterback. And I'm going to be truthfully honest, like I said about BYU and their coaching staff, they've got one heck of a roster and a heck of a staff that has a lot more than what people expect. So I've got my money on BYU sneaking into the playoffs after they lose to Iowa State, and then hopefully either playing us, most definitely, or Miami or Georgia in the national championship quarter or semifinal matchup. And that's not on the road at our stadium, or, you know, it's going to be what do you call it? A neutral site game, like Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think that would be great. I got to let you go, Caden. I'm trying to get a few calls in tonight, but thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, Nathan. I'll get my ugly carcass out of here, but you're always welcome. And as always, if you ever need me, you just say my name, and I am here.
I appreciate
so,
it.
Go Bucks, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, peace out. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Caden the Diesel Freak. Let's clap him out. Thank you so much, Caden. I really appreciate you calling in. You always have unique takes, and I really respect everybody's opinion. And it's fun to hear people their perceptions of how things are going on out in the season. I just was scrolling while I was listening to Caden marking a few comments. Just to be clear, let's run through a couple things. First of all, Hayden's talking about BYU. BYU has a tough 4-game stretch. 5 if you count Arizona now, who's undefeated. Arizona, Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU. Originally, that was supposed to be a 4-game gauntlet. Now it's turned into a 5. Oh, wait a second. Houston's on that schedule. And that's where it gets difficult for the Big 12 is you might have really good teams. They're going to beat each other up. Texas Tech, very good. They got some challenges necessarily with their experience and some other things, but they certainly turned a corner. They have all the resources available to them to be successful. Utah, I think their defense is elite, as usual. But Devin Dampier, I think you can scheme around him, and I think we saw twinges of that last week with Wyoming. Now, they beat Wyoming up and down the field and couldn't make a field goal to save their lives. They missed 3 field goals, something like that. So the game wasn't necessarily as close as the score, if you watch especially the first half. But I will tell you this, Devin Dampier has a hard time throwing downfield. And defenses that have deep backfield are going to be able to scheme around him, I think. Here's another call.
Call from
Daniel.
Daniel Gygax, what's going on?
Oh, more fun and excitement I don't know what to do with.
Oh, hey, I'm all for that.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Oh, please do.
When was the last sports facility, that's a stadium, arena, ballpark, that was not built with taxpayer money?
Well, Vel Edward wasn't, but I would just say any private school that has Liberty done
No,
an upgrade?
I'm not talking like a professional, like there in Utah, there's going to spend how much money to build an arena for the hockey and
billions of dollars.
Jazz.
I think it was like $1 or $2 billion, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So to ask a legislature to cough up a little bit of money or a lot of money for a sporting facility, it happens everywhere.
Right. I'm not
So
talking about facilities, though. I'm talking about the entire athletic department.
that's true.
So
But
it's
whenever
not
it comes,
going to facilities.
I understand that.
Okay.
But follow my logic on this.
Okay.
If, let's say, Dan University, I've got and it's a public university,
Okay.
and I have no debt on any property in that facility.
Right.
That's a lot of money that's not tied up for the athletic budget that I can spend on everything else.
That's why BYU's been so successful over the years, is because they haven't debt spent. That's exactly the reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
When you pay
But,
cash for stuff, Daniel, you don't have any debt. So,
Yeah.
you don't buy, if you
Yeah.
can't come up with the billions of dollars. BYU's gonna have to replace Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Are you gonna come to this game, by the way? I know you were up in the air about that.
Your microphone just dropped off.
Okay. Are you coming to the West Virginia game here?
As of right now, I can't. I'll
Okay.
explain it to you. I'll text you and explain the whole entire thing. It's a
doesn't.
long story.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. I was just going to say, if you came to Lavelle Edwards, you could see where it's a fantastic setting. The stadium is loud, a lot louder
Yeah.
than people think it's going to be, but it's
Well, I was there.
right? It's an older stadium. So,
Yeah. Well, I sat right next to you at a basketball game.
oh, that's right. You saw it.
And-
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It was the nicest basketball arena I could think of for a college facility.
Yeah, the Marriott Center.
Nicest crowd, and it was massively loud
Yeah.
for a Saturday night game.
And that's the way the football stadium is. So someday we'll have to
Yeah.
get you here for a game. But the idea that if BYU makes the playoffs, and this is just Nathan's opinion, but if BYU makes the playoffs in the next 3 years twice, I think they'll be able to say, okay, we can do this. Let's spend the money to get a new stadium. And I think that will come, and it'll be state of the art, and it'll be many billions of dollars. None of it will come from taxpayer benefits. They might get some tax benefits from Provo, but they're not going to get any direct money from the legislature. So I think I agree with what you're saying. Schools need subsidies. There's no doubt about it. Education, upper education costs money, but I'm only talking about these athletic departments that, especially in the in Pac-12, debt spend, expecting these huge dollars to come back from media deals that never occurred.
Exactly true, but some of that debt spending is facilities.
Oh, I agree with you.
Let's say
some of it is. Yep.
Let's say I'm gonna pick North Dakota State.
Okay.
Let's say they want to rebuild their stadium. They go to the state of North Dakota and say, "Hey, we need blank money to put suites into the stadium."
Right.
Well, guess what? That I want to say it's the Fargo Dome. The Fargo Dome will now have suites, not paid for by the university, but the university will make money off of it and not have to incur that debt.
That's right. So it'll pay itself off.
That's what That's what I was talking about. I mean, I couldn't tell you. There's probably somebody that's going to say this facility was built without public money, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Not from a state school. I can't think of one school.
I'm even thinking
from the legislature. They had big donations, but they definitely came from the state of Kansas as well.
But I'm talking even professional teams. Every professional team has their hand out saying, "Hey, we need our stadium rebuilt."
I think I just heard of one that didn't, though. In the NFL, I think there's one stadium.
Denver is saying that they're going to build their
that's
stadium,
where it was. Yeah, the Broncos.
That they're going to build their stadium without public money.
That's
but there's a massive asterisk on that because there's tax breaks. There's they're going to get the land for free.
Right.
They're going to get this for free. There's a lot of stuff that the state of Colorado and Denver are going to give to build that facility, and with all the money that's going to be kicked in, it's still going to be
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. I think there's a lot to that. At the end of the day, what we're all going to need to understand is the bottom line is to compete, you're going to have money from big donors. You're going to have groups of smaller donors that can pool their money to act like a big donor.
Yes.
That's why this Arkansas thing was a shock to me. Not necessarily they were asking for money. Oregon and Ohio State over this offseason sent out memos saying we need more money. That's fine. I'm okay with them just putting a blanket request out. But this guy was actively acting like they had no money at all. And that's simply not true. Arkansas not only has big boosters, but they're getting a massive amount of money from their media deal. And if that still isn't enough to pay for whoever they want for players, that's on them. They've done something that has mismanaged their money, which is, I think, why people were looking up saying, hey, wait a second, what's going on here?
I don't know if it's true today as much as it was years ago, but the Walton family used to help float bills there for the University of Arkansas. I don't know if they still do it today, but they used to float some pretty nice.
Yeah, same thing with Pickens and Oklahoma State, right?
Yes.
So and that's going to come and go. Knight's going to eventually die. University of Oregon, but the University of Oregon has built an entire $2 or $3 billion athletic endowment. Has nothing to do with the educational properties, and they're going to be just fine because that's where he's put his money, and they can live off the interest essentially.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to go.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate you calling in.
Hey, no problem.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Daniel Gygax. Clapping him off. Great comments. It's true. Ranting and raving about debt spending for athletic funds. At the end of the day, everybody has to make up their own mind. I live in Utah. I'm going to speak to Utah. I am willing to do a certain amount to subside to help the athletic departments subsist. I am not here to give my tax dollars so that the University of Utah can get a 5-star quarterback. That's not where that money's supposed to be going. And yet the revenue share money is coming from the same pool, not the NIL, not the third-party NIL, but the revenue sharing portion is coming from that other piece. And that's where I lose you a little bit, right? That's where I lose you a little bit. All right. We've been going an hour. I'm going to do a quick reset, kind of tell everybody where we're going tonight. I've turned off the phone call. So if you're calling in right now, don't be alarmed. I just paused it for a second so this new chair, man, it's like I'm an astronaut or something. Okay. I just wanted to do a quick reset. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. We are doing call-ins. I appreciate those. You can see I've changed my office. So what I'm doing now behind me, and I've got my Big 12 conference flag up right now, and I have flags that I've had donated to me in the past that I'm going to rotate through. But if you want your school to be represented behind me in a very similar fashion, send me the flag and I'll display it for a week or 10 days, something like that. So your school is represented. I already have flags representing Kansas State and the University of Kansas. I got those a couple years ago. If you have a flag you want to send me for your school, good example would be the Eastern Carolina Pirates. If you guys have something you want me to display and have on the show, happy to do it. Send me a DM on Twitter and let's talk. I'll give you my address and we'll sort out a date and we'll get it done. But I've been wanting to do this this is my 3.5 years. I've been wanting to have this room to be able to do this, and now I can do it. So I'm pretty excited about that. So down at the bottom, I've just simple instructions. If you guys want to send me a flag, I will display it. And we'll just have some fun with this thing. And then we can rotate through those things as we go through the off season and everything else. All right. Let me go back up here and I will go to that. Earl Carr has joined the chat. Earl, first, second, third member ever and has stayed with us. Super loyal. 26 months member of the College Football Mafia family. Appreciate you, Earl. Thank you so much. Since we earned our right to do subscriptions, you were one of the first, and I appreciate you for it. Sup, Cougar fan and Bomber. Yeah, BYU's got a lot to prove going out to Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina is a dangerous team on the road. We'll have to see. I don't know. If BYU gets by that game relatively, well, I'm not going to say any of those things out loud. The hope is that they'll come out of that positive, and we'll be able to go into the season playing Colorado the next week on a good note. On the other hand, if you're an Eastern Carolina fan, you guys have an opportunity here to put BYU way down, beat them. And I respect Eastern Carolina too much to say that's not going to happen. There's no way I would ever say that's not going to happen. Everybody saw what Wyoming and Utah did last week, right? Utah was the far superior team, and through 3 quarters, it was still a toss-up. So we'll have to see. All I'm saying is you find out who's best. Riff Ram Royalty, who's watching on X. I appreciate your Riff Ram loyalty. Thank you very much for leaving your comment. I really appreciate people engaging from X. It's easy to just be lazy and let that thing just fly. So thanks for being here. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and consider sticking around and becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. We do a pretty good job around here. Not just me, but my whole team. Some really cool things. Notre Dame plays Arkansas, who is out begging for money. Boise State, who knows who they're going to be this year. It's still up in the air. North Carolina State, who's 3-0 and looks not too bad. Boston College, no. Navy, no. Pitt, no. Syracuse, I'm going to leave sort of in the toss-up category. Stanford won last week, 30-20 over Boston College team that it was a Wake Forest team. I get Boston College and Wake Forest kind of mixed up sometimes with their football. But either way, Stanford played well last week, so we'll have to see where they are. And then I saw a note that somebody said that they also play USC. If they have to, right here, followed that up earlier by saying they play USC. Thank you, Riff Ram Royalty. It's great to see you here. Yeah, I don't know. Notre Dame is not the team this year. Clemson is probably going to lose one more game this year. So we'll have to see. There's some other teams that have stepped up that are sort of looking, well, wait a second. If they're off, maybe this other team is on. So we don't know where we're going to be there yet, but certainly it's something that we should be monitoring and watching. So thank you, Riff Ram. It's good to have you here. I really appreciate you. Let's see here. Troll grinding cheap clapper says, Bomber, I remember you saying the Big Ten teams need to stop playing non-conference cupcakes, but isn't that exactly what Utah did with playing UCLA? UCLA is bad, people. Historically bad. The last 20 years, if you think BYU's been down for a decade and a half, USC's been down for over 20 years. You know, since Troy Aikman, to be perfectly frank. And he graduated in 89. So what's that, 40 years? Whatever it is, 32 years, something like that. Whatever the number is, UCLA has so far to climb up. So far. And I've told everybody, this is the 3rd season, I've told everybody, nobody bank on UCLA. And the 3rd season, UCLA has been just absolutely terrible compared to the rest of their competition in the Big Ten. Yeah, that's funny. Everybody came out of the game, oh, Utah's just the best defense ever. And then they go out and lose to New Mexico. What are we talking about here? UCLA's bad. Utah's defense is good, very good. But come on, man. It's like me coming out of the Portland State game for BYU saying, BYU's defense is the best ever because they kept down Portland State. No, that's not. Essentially, Portland State and UCLA are the same. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, good to see you. Appreciate you being here, troll grinding cheek clapper. Mitch Blanton checking in. It's good to see you, Mitch. Until the CFP committee starts excluding Notre Dame bias from the playoffs, its credibility will remain flawed. Mitch could not be more accurate. Yep, the Notre Dame bias is real. There's no doubt about it. And it's not going away anytime soon. Kenneth Maynor, representing the Eastern Carolina Pirates. Good to have you here. The top 6 teams in the American, USF, Tulane, Memphis, North Texas, Navy, ECU, are better than the bottom 6 in the ACC. That is quite possibly accurate. Let's talk about the bottom 6 in the ACC. I will work from reverse order. So that starts with Virginia Tech. I can do this to the Big 12 too. I can say the Big 12 has teams that, but you compare these worst teams in the ACC to the worst teams in the Big 12. Virginia Tech's 0-3 and fired their coach in week 3. Again, what are we doing here? Stanford won a game. They're on a long climb. I'm going to give them a bye because they have in the last 15 years been good. Duke, again, you pay Mensa to leave Tulane. You pay him $48 million in NIL to come play at your school, and then you go to Tulane and you get worked by Jake Rutzlaff, who played well. But again, it's like, beating a puppy. Duke was hapless in defense. So, well, we don't know who Tulane is. Certainly it didn't hurt beating Duke, but I don't know. Clemson probably going to lose 3 games this year. I haven't looked at their schedule recently, but they're probably a 9-3 team, and they could get to a playoff again like they did last year in the same record. That absolutely could happen if Miami or Florida State or Georgia Tech, stumble. Boston College, nope. Wake Forest, 2-1, and then still nope. Virginia, so what is that? If we start at Wake Forest, that's 6 schools at the bottom of the ACC that you could easily see at 500 or worse. Just to be clear, this in the bottom 6 teams in the Big 12, Kansas State's 1-3 and is on a bender. I don't know what's going on with I have no idea what's going on with K-State. I almost think Kleeman might be a problem at this point. I know John Kurtz and I know Tim Fitzgerald. They all, they're Kansas State alums. They support their school. Chris Kleeman might not be him. He might have been a 1 or 2 season wonder. They're 1-3 and should be 0-4. They were down against North Dakota State or something and came back and won. They have not played well. Colorado's 1-2, and I think might only win 4 or 5 games this year. I said that in the preseason. That's not new. They need to pick a quarterback. The matchup, not this week, but next week, BYU and Colorado will be a litmus test. But I would say this week, Wyoming plays Colorado. And if Wyoming plays the same against Colorado that they beat, or that they played against Utah, they can beat Colorado. So don't look past them. Oklahoma State's 1-1. Didn't look good in their blowout against Oregon, but it's Oregon, so we'll have to see. West Virginia's 2-1. So 4 teams in the Big 12, and you're already up to 2-1. Rather than 1-2, 1-3 in the ACC, 0-3 in one case. West Virginia's 2-1. We don't know yet, right? Kansas 2-1. We just talked about. Cincinnati's 2-1. Are they back? Maybe. I'm leaving the possibility they could be back. And then you get the schools that have been there in the last several years: BYU, Utah, Texas Tech, Arizona, Houston, and Iowa State. My point is that the Big 12 is a deeper conference, but it's not necessarily the best if we're talking about getting teams into the playoff, because as everybody knows, it's an invitational. The playoff is an invitational. It's like being included and invited to a country club. You can't just walk in and play golf. You have to be invited by a member. That's where we're at right now in the playoff. It's an invitational, ESPN invitational, and we'll have to see. The next couple of years will really tell a lot. Texas Tech's got to win. Is Houston back? So these are questions need answers. A couple more comments, and I'll turn the phones back on. Larry, the GM, Bomber, I would say the ACC compares to the Big 12 as the Big 10 does the SEC recently. A few elites versus more good. I love that comparison. That's exactly right. Larry, the GM's got it. It's exactly right. That's a fine analogy. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The ACC and the Big 10, which does Academic Alliance. Does anybody remember that? So it's unironic to me that those two would be perceived the same way. A lot of top brands and then everybody else, whereas the SEC much deeper, and I think the Big 12 is much deeper. So yeah, I've never thought of that before. But you're right. That is a great analog. It's good to see you here, Larry. Let's see here. Love Sports. Welcome to the show, man. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and all that fun stuff. Love having you here. Thank you for showing up. Notre Dame isn't in the ACC for football. I know that. And should not be count on the ACC's list of schools getting into the CFP. So it's a little out of context. What I was saying, perception-wise, when they look at the ACC, when they go to negotiate with the ACC, with ESPN, they're going to say, well, in 2024, we had 3 teams get in. And they say, no, you didn't. You had SMU, Clemson. Where's the 3rd team? And Florida State wasn't there. Miami wasn't there. No, it was Notre Dame. And why is that? Is because they're a full voting member of the ACC without being a full playing member of the ACC. And I guarantee you that's how they'll negotiate their deal. So does it, from a contract standpoint, take the spot? No, of course it doesn't. But from a perception standpoint, it's huge how Notre Dame is perceived as sort of part of, but not in the ACC. Anyway, let's keep reading. West Virginia's victory over Pitt was exquisitely sweet. Love Sports, you'll have to tell me who your school is. I'm guessing it's an ACC school, but I'm not sure which one. Let me know, Love Sports, in my comments. I'd love to know what your school is. I try to remember, like Chris earlier, I couldn't remember what his school was either. I apologize. I think it might be Clemson, Chris's, if I remember right, but he needs to tell me who his school is. But it's good to have you here, Love Sports. Appreciate you. And one more comment from Timothy Green, and then I'll turn on the phone lines again. Bomber, not just because I watched your show, but I truly think that BYU could be right there at the end to have a chance to win the Big 12 this year. Just my opinion. Thank you, Timothy. It's going to come down to the quarterback. Their defense is lights out. Everybody will see how good their defense is in this next 3 games. West Virginia, Colorado, and Eastern Carolina will prove out if BYU's defense is as good as the analytics say they are. And I'm not talking about per team. We're talking deep analytics that say how many get-offs, how many, these other things that they measure. And then you can just watch BYU's defense, and it is dynamic. And Jay Hill, defensive coordinator, is going to be a coach somewhere, and I hate it. I want him to stay at BYU forever because he is a genius when it comes to schemes. So, yeah, anyway, I appreciate you, Timothy. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm going to turn the phone lines back on. I will go another half hour. So if you want your comment to be read, make it a super chat at this point. I've tried to get to as many comments as I can tonight. So if you want your comment to be read, part of the show, make it a super chat. Just hit the little $ next to the comment window on your screen for the show, and you can do a donation. I read all super chats, and then consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. I appreciate that as well. All right, 801-899-6203. Call me right now, and let's talk about your feedback. I've tried to cover as much stuff as I can, but I'd much rather you guys talk about it. So give me a call and give me your opinion. 801-899-6203. Call me right now. All right. I'll get to a few more comments here. Riff Ram Royalty, I'm coming to the game in Provo. I'm excited. The TCU game in Provo will be awesome. That game could be that could be a Big 12 championship preview if TCU continues to play well. But BYU's got now 6 games to get through to get to that point, and I just don't know. The quarterback is a true freshman. He's good, but it just takes experience. And the only way to get experience is to get experience. There's no way they can practice the way that game speed is. So we'll have to see how Bear Buckmeyer does this weekend. They're going to come after him. I know that. They're not going to let LJ Martin beat him. They're going to lock down LJ Martin and Siona Moa in the background. They're not going to let backfield. They're not going to let BYU get off for 150 yards rushing. If BYU gets 150 yards rushing, they win by 3 touchdowns. But if it's in Bears' hands, we'll have to see how creative he can be. Anyway, I'm excited for this game too. Riffram Royalty, TCU. That'll be a lot of fun. Rivalry renewed. I've missed TCU. I love seeing them play. Call me now, 801-899-6203. Let me know what your thoughts are about the state of college football, these conferences as they fight each other for perception, how their seasons have gone, your particular school. If nobody calls in the next 10 minutes, I'll just shut it down, right? I stick around for super chats and I stick around for phone calls. So if you guys want me to keep talking, I'm happy to do that. But I'm not going to do it for more than 10 minutes unless I get more engagement. Just, you guys know me. I don't need to even say that. You guys know how I work. Let me get to some more comments here while we're waiting. Get to the bottom. What kind of, yes, you can call now to Town Hawk if you want to. Sure, I'll talk to you. What kind of defense does BYU play? That's just it. They play like 12 different types of defense. Sean. That's the deal. He can drop 5. He can bring 8. I mean, I'm just telling Jay Hill, he's a genius. The guy is a genius. So I don't know what type they play. I mean, I think it's a 4-3 technically, or it might be a 3-4. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, Sean. I'll look this weekend, try to figure it out. Okay. I've never really cared for how good they are. I've never really cared. So, but thanks for the question. I wish I had the answer. To Town Hawk, the calls are on, so you can call in if you want to. I'd love to talk to you. Let's see. Love Sports says, let's go Mountaineers. Okay. Another West Virginia in the house. We have a lot of West Virginia representation around here, and I appreciate them, man. They're awesome. Oh, here we go. Chris G is Virginia Tech fan. Thank you, Chris. Sorry, I know you've been around. My memory is just all over the place. Virginia Tech's in a tough spot, guys. Yeah. We'll have to see who they want to coach there. I know a lot of people don't like Michael Vick. I like Michael Vick. He just, the dog thing, people cannot get over the dog thing. Anyway, Tempest says Notre Dame is a conference killer. Yeah, they're like Texas. Let's see Texas in the SEC. We'll see. We're going to have to see how that lives over the next 10 years for sure. Sean says TCU will test BYU secondary. Okay. That game's a long way out. We got a lot of games to play before we get there, unfortunately. Yeah. A lot of games. Let's see here. Let me get to a few more comments. I don't think there's any more super chats. I don't want to go by anybody's super chat. Okay, I didn't. Let's see here. 801-899-6203. Call me. Call me, guys. Right now. I'm wondering if people don't see that. Do people not see? Raise your hand. Let me know. Do you guys not see the reader at the bottom? Is that too obscure? Do I need to add it to somewhere either behind me or into a bigger block notification? Because I think a lot of people don't even see the reader at the bottom of the screen. I'm just curious if you guys even see it, because if you don't, that might be an explanation why you're not calling in, because you can't see the number. 801-899-6203. Okay, Daniel says he sees it. So, all right. Well, I don't know. Got another call. Let's go.
Call from
Town Hawk.
The Town Hawk is back. How are we doing?
Doing all right, Nate. I completely forgot to ask you. Did you watch the game on TNT last weekend, the late night game? And if you did, what did you think of the broadcast?
Which game?
I could be wrong, but was it
Arizona State?
Arizona State, Texas State.
I did watch that part of that. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was a blowout in the second half, but I did watch the first part of that game. I love what TNT is doing.
I think the broadcast was fantastic. Not only that, did you see they have the actual studio and the guys talking about the game, afterwards, like a legitimate setup.
Right.
So much better than any of the ESPN Plus,
yes,
stuff. I can't wait for them to pick up more games because I really think TNT is going to be ramping up. I'm excited about it.
The Kansas one's right here. You can't see that? Oh, it's just underneath it. Here, let me move it. Mr. Monkey says, I will move the Kansas helmet up. I thought everybody could see that. Let me put it. I'll put it right here. There you go, Mr. Monkey says. Let me turn it so you can see the Jayhawk. There you go. There you go.
I don't know. What'd you say, bud?
I said I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the TNT partnership for the Big 12. I think it's fantastic for not only BYU, but all the schools in the conference. And I'm hoping that they make a play for the whole conference in 2030-31. Just buy the whole thing from ESPN.
I think it's fantastic. And the only other thing I was gonna ask is just maybe a suggestion.
Sure.
Because I'd love to hear the feedback. You have so many contributors. I mean, on your show and people that are involved with your network in the Mafia family.
Right.
And a lot of them go to the games, right? I mean, actually attend some of the games throughout the season.
I think so. Yeah.
What I would love to hear is like maybe something about the stadium experience at the different Big 12 venues.
Okay.
I mean, things to do, things to avoid, that sort of thing. What their overall thoughts were. I mean, I'd like to be educated about it. I've never been to a game in Cincinnati or Lubbock, but I'd love to hear about it, especially the Southwest schools that I'd love to go out and do a Utah and an Arizona visit.
Sure.
Colorado too. But I just thought that might be a neat thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'll run it by the team tonight. I'll send a note to everybody and see if we couldn't get some of that reporting back, so that people understand kind of how these stadiums look and run and everything else. It's a great idea. Thank you for bringing it up.
Thanks, man.
Okay, we'll see you. Have a great night. Go Jayhawks.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, Town Hog. That's a great suggestion. I'll ask the team kind of what they think about that. That would be cool. There's a lot of these stadiums I haven't been to, so I'd love to hear more. Daniel's been to a bunch of them. I know that. Rock and Ran has been to a bunch of them. Moen has. Utes traveled some. So yeah, I'll bring it up and see if we can't get something thrown together about the stadiums. That'd be fun. It's a good idea. Kenneth Maynor, another good comment, says, I wish the American would get their analysis and coverage, better analysis and coverage. A lot of big schools with underserved fan bases. TNT would be great. Look, I don't know if everybody saw this, but Paramount is buying Warner Brothers. That's a huge deal. And I can repost that article on Twitter. I'll do that. Maybe I have it bookmarked. Give me 1 second here, because it is a massive story. Let's see if I can find the link. Have to get past all these Arkansas Razorback. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? Let's see. I don't know where it's at. No, it's transfer portal. No, UAPs. No. I'll find the article and I'll repost it. The fact that their TNT is being bought by Paramount, which is CBS as well. If people will take a step back, the conferences that are underserved right now, they can take the pick of the litter, and the best conferences they will pick. And I think the problem is that ESPN, according to Bob Thompson, has the first right of not refusal, but they have the first bite at the apple because they currently already own a majority of the Big 12 broadcasting rights. Fox owns a minority, a third. But because they control the majority of those, they have the opportunity to make their bid first. And if the bid doesn't work, they can make another bid, and they can make another bid. They have, I guess, up to a year to do that. So Brett Yormark, his job would be to get them to commit to more money, knowing that TNT is making a bid. Now, the reverse would be tell ESPN no and no and no and no over and over again. TNT, Warner Brothers, Paramount buys those rights, and then ESPN never covers the games. That means ESPN News never talks about the Big 12. It's a trade, right? So probably the best solution is what's going on right now, and that is they're buying licensing from ESPN. That's how they're broadcasting games now, is they bought rights to some of ESPN's games, and that's how they're doing broadcasting now. So in 2030, 31, when the contract comes up, we will have to see where we are at that point. So I'm going to turn the phones off again. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have been great tonight. I really appreciate all the phone calls. You guys being here has really made my day. Earl Carr being here, man, I need to see you more. I miss you, Earl. Appreciate Moen's super chat. We got Kenneth Maynor representing the Eastern Carolina Pirates, playing my BYU Cougars this weekend. To Town Hawks, a couple phone calls and $2 super chat. Appreciate that. And then at the very beginning of the show, Moen gave away 5 new memberships. I hope everybody appreciates those. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your week. And good luck to your teams this weekend, unless you're a Notre Dame fan. I'm just teasing. Let's just be positive as we go throughout our days, all right? Let's not try to cut each other down. Let's try to be positive and help each other up. One last, I'm not going to do this probably a few times just to remind people, if you guys want to participate, and I'll put your school banner behind my head or the flag, send me a DM on Twitter, and I will certainly do that for you. I'll put it up, and I'll leave it up for a while. It should be a lot of fun. So I'm going to do that over the next year, try to get as many schools in as possible. So send me a DM, and I will be sure to recognize it with my address, and then you can send me the flag, and I'll put it up. All right. I think that's it, everybody. Everybody have a great week. Next show, I believe. Well, we have Big Freaking Friday. And I'm not sure if there's a Thursday show this week. Moen might do a show tomorrow night, so watch for that. Sometimes he'll do a show Wednesday nights. So everybody watch for that tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you on Friday after the Big Freaking Friday show. Other than that, appreciate you. Be good. Hug your family and friends. It's not embarrassing. All right. Everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Peace.